I joined Jiu-Jitsu because of my daughter, because she needed to see that strength wasn't just something men owned, that courage could wear a ponytail and still bow respectfully on the mat. The academy was small, filled with the scent of clean tatami and quiet determination. That's where I first saw her, Coach Alina. She moved like water, calm but impossible to hold, her dark hair braided tightly as if even a single strand out of place would disturb her discipline. When she demonstrated a sweep, the entire room watched in silence, including me. I wasn't there to impress anyone. I was a mother trying to rebuild confidence after a difficult divorce, trying to prove to my daughter that starting over wasn't weakness. But the first time Alina corrected my posture, placing her hands gently on my shoulders to guide my balance, something shifted inside me. It wasn't inappropriate, not even close. It was simply the awareness of another woman seeing me fully, my hesitation, my strength, my potential. After class, as my daughter laughed with the other girls, Alina caught my eye and gave me a small nod, the kind that said, "You belong here." And for the first time in years, I felt like I did.
Weeks passed, and bruises bloomed across my arms like quiet medals of honor. I trained hard, sometimes clumsy, often frustrated, but determined. Alina never treated me differently because I was older than most of the students. She pushed me, challenged me, and once, when I almost quit after a particularly humiliating spar, she knelt beside me and said softly, "Your daughter watches how you rise, not how you fall." Her words stayed with me long after class ended. There was something deeper in the way she spoke. Not flirtation, not yet, but an understanding that ran beneath the surface. We began staying a few minutes after everyone left, reviewing techniques, practicing escapes, talking about discipline and fear. I learned she had built the academy from nothing, that she believed martial arts could heal invisible wounds. One evening, as the sun filtered gold through the windows, she paused mid-instruction and studied me with unreadable eyes. "Stay after class," she said gently. My heart skipped, not from scandal, but from the weight in her tone. It felt like an invitation into something unspoken, something neither of us had named, but both had started to feel.
That night, the mats were quiet, the echoes of laughter gone. My daughter had gone home with a friend, leaving me alone in the warm silence of the dojo. Alina approached slowly, no longer the strict instructor, but simply a woman standing across from another woman. She admitted she had noticed my resilience, the way I masked vulnerability with humor, the way my eyes softened whenever I spoke about my child. I surprised myself by confessing I hadn't expected to feel alive again, especially not because of another woman. There was no shock in her expression, only honesty. She told me she had spent years focused only on building her career, convincing herself she didn't need companionship. Yet somewhere between teaching me arm locks and watching me laugh nervously after each mistake, her walls had thinned. We stood close, not touching, but aware of the electricity in the space between us. When her fingers finally brushed mine, it wasn't rushed or reckless. It was careful, respectful, a question rather than a demand. And when I didn't pull away, she smiled, a quiet, relieved smile that felt more intimate than anything else. Our connection grew slowly, like a technique mastered through repetition. We kept our professionalism during classes, but outside the academy, we began sharing coffee after early morning sessions. We talked about motherhood, about expectations placed on women, about how often strength is mistaken for hardness. With Alina, I didn't have to pretend to be fearless. She admired my devotion to my daughter, and I admired her discipline and integrity. One evening, after a small local tournament where my daughter won her first medal, we celebrated together. Watching my child beam with pride, I felt an overwhelming gratitude for Jiu-Jitsu, for courage, for Alina. Later, beneath the soft glow of the academy lights, she cupped my face gently and whispered that she admired not just my strength, but my heart. Our kiss was tender, unhurried, built on weeks of shared glances and quiet understanding. It wasn't about secrecy or rebellion. It was about two women choosing each other with clarity. In that moment, I realized I hadn't joined Jiu-Jitsu only to inspire my daughter. I had joined to rediscover myself. Balancing love and responsibility wasn't simple, but it was honest. My daughter noticed the lightness in my laughter, the way Alina's presence brought calm rather than chaos. We were careful, respectful, never hiding in shame, but never rushing explanations either. What mattered most was the example we set, that love, like martial arts, requires discipline, respect, and trust. Months later, during an advanced training session, Alina handed me a new belt, her fingers steady but her eyes shining with pride. "You stayed after class," she teased softly, reminding me of the night everything changed. I realized that growth doesn't always come from dramatic battles. Sometimes it comes from quiet invitations and the courage to accept them. I had walked into that academy seeking strength for my daughter. Instead, I found partnership, passion, and a deeper understanding of myself. And as we locked the doors together after another long evening on the mat, I knew that this was more than a training journey. It was a love story built on resilience. Two women who chose to fight for their dreams and for each other.